Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt, and today I want to talk about something that's really important to do as a language learner, and that is track your progress. And I would really recommend this, especially for someone that's in the early stages. Do this now, and you're going to thank yourself later. And if you're still like maybe even the intermediate phase or advanced phase, I would still recommend tracking your progress. Now, why is tracking your progress so important? And why should you do it as a beginner? Well, I'm going to tell you that most people are definitely not tracking their progress while learning a language. And the thing about it is, this is really a couple of things. So first off, when you track your progress, it's going to have this kind of accountability built into it, right? And by having that accountability, that's going to help to, inform your actions or to make consistent progress while you're learning a language. So when you track your progress, ultimately, those should probably come back to your goals, or if you don't have goals, you should set them along with tracking your progress. And so with those goals, let's say you want to be fluent or study this many hours in the entire year. By tracking your progress, it's kind of acting as this bridge to accomplishing that goal, right? So it's helping you to get what you want at the end of the day. All the goal is kind of helping to set up a frame of where you want to be, what you want to accomplish, what you want to experience. And that being said, that's what tracking the progress does. It helps to kind of add a pathway to accomplishing goals, because I think for a lot of people, they really set these goals that are not very clear, right? They're not very specific, and they're kind of just whatever. And by the end of the year, they look at their goals and go, oh wow, I was not even close, right? And so you really want to make sure that you accomplish those goals, and the best way to do that is to track your progress. Now, that's number one, right? The second thing is, I think that it's very easy to feel like you're not making progress in a language, right? And tracking your progress really helps you to accomplish that. So, with language learning, a lot of things are very, they're not very clear, right? It's hard to measure your overall progress. Like, how many words do you know? How well do you understand certain grammatical concepts? And if you track your progress, at least in some aspect, whether that's how many words you know, how many pages in a foreign language you've read, or how many hours you've studied, at least it gives you this visual representation about the actions that you're putting in the language, right? So even though it's like, I don't feel like I've been making progress, it's like, well, I know I've studied 15 hours recently, and I'm tracking those hours every single day or every week. And so I know I'm making progress. And if I keep at it and keep putting in the time, I'm going to be where I need to be. So, tracking that progress really helps you to just kind of stay motivated, right? To kind of just reinforce that, yeah, I am making progress. And if you're tracking progress at the beginning, you can start to see where you started and how much you've gained since you started tracking. I think the other thing too is that if your goal is fluency, you have a better way to gauge how much more room you have to go, right? If you know you've studied for, X many hours, and the CFR levels are telling you that you need this many hours to be fluent on average, then you have this concept of how close you are to that, right? Rather than kind of guessing, well, I think I've studied this many hours in 2019 and so on and so forth. So I think that tracking your progress is huge. You'll thank yourself later, right? When you really want to know, maybe how long is it going to take me to get to a certain level, or how much progress am I making, right? If you see how much progress you make on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you start to see, okay, if I keep doing what I'm doing now, I'm not going to get to my goal, so I need to ramp it up. Or, hey, I'm ahead of progress. This is great. It's really good to do that, and try to do it in any metrics that you think are that are useful, right? Whether that's how many hours you study every single week, whether that's how many movies you've watched in the foreign language, or anything like that. Add that quantifiable component. Now, if you're kind of that intermediate and advanced person, it's very tempting to go, well, it's too late. I've already learned a bunch on a flashcard system and grammar, and it's just too late. I would strongly advise against that, right? Just track your progress still. Like, no matter where you are in the process, it helps you with your goals. It helps you to stay motivated, and it really does help you to realize where you're going and if you're on track or not. So track your progress. You can use an Excel sheet for that. You can use just a plain notebook and write it down every single week. and so just try to do those things, because in the end of the day, it's going to be very helpful. A lot of language learning is just setting things up. It's just set up to be successful, right? Once you have the plan, once you have the routine and you analyze what you're doing, it's just, after that, it's just putting in the time and being very consistent. So what do you guys think? Leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.